Welcome to my fortnightly program Trading Strategies. In this program, I take any one indicator and then explain the indicator and also talk about trading strategies associated with this indicator. Today's program is on RSI, which is the most versatile of all indicators that we have in technical analysis. So this indicator was created way back in 1978 or I think 79 by this person called Welles Wilder, and for me he would be considered to be the father of technical analysis because in that one seminal book which he wrote during that period, he talked about so many indicators which are continued to be used even now. For example, he has talked about obviously the RSI, but he's also talked about ADX and ADXR. He's also talked about parabolic SAR. So several other things in that book, the concepts that he actually explained has gone on to be used widely by technical analysis across the world. So Welles Wilder created RSI, and he created RSI as this formula. So it is, according to him, 100 minus 100 divided by something called 1 plus RS. Now, therefore, the question obviously is, what is RS, right? So RS, he decided, was average gains of up days divided by average losses in down days. This needs some explanation. What he did was basically, if you had today was a up day, that means there was a gain, then he put the gain in the gain column. And if today was a down day, then he took the loss and put it in the loss column. So there was no science attached to it. Whatever was the number. So today if Nifty moved up 100 points, then he put 100 in the gains column. And today if Nifty lost 100 points, then he put 100 in the loss column. And then this way he did it day after day for a period of 14 days. As I've said, the default number that he used was 14 days, and we could change that number, but currently that is widely used across the world. So 14 is the number that by default comes up in any technical analysis software, and that is what he used. So for 14 days he did this. If it is a up day, then he put that number in the gain column, and if it was a down day, he put that number in the loss column, and then he took the average of that across 14 days. So across 14 days, whatever was the up days, he added up and divided that by 14 to get the average number. Similarly, across 14 days, whatever were the loss making days, he added that up and put that in the loss column and took the average by adding it all up and dividing it by 14. So this gave him is the idea of this gave him this average gains of up days and average losses in down days, and when he divided these two numbers, he got this figure called RS, and this RS has been put in this formula for RSI, which is 100 minus 100 divided by 1 plus RS. So now, just a brief aside, as in any indicator in technical analysis is actually just a formula, a way of looking at the price, right? Because that's what we have on a daily basis. We get open, high, low, close prices and a volume price. So a combination of these things, a way of looking at these things differently is what an indicator does. So the RSI indicator, it's also called an oscillator or an indicator, is something that is created out of the same price that comes out on a daily basis, but by putting it in the form of a formula, which is 100 minus 100 divided by 1 plus RS. Welles Wilder has now been is able to actually give you far more information than just looking at the price charts. The price charts would just see a series of data points move up and down, but Welles Wilder was able to, by formulating it in this manner, able to give you far more information. And this is what we will see. What is the information that RSI gives us because of the way this formula is constructed? So the first thing, clearly, as you say, is the formula again given, but hence what does RSI do? Because of the formula, it is constrained to move between 0 and 100. Let me explain that. So for example, it is 100 minus 100 divided by 1 plus RS. So if RS is 0, then this will become 100 minus 100 divided by 1, and therefore that becomes 100, that becomes 0. So RSI will become 0 because this is 100 minus 100 if RS is equal to 0. Anything above than more than 0 and will therefore mean that RS can be at worst 0. RSI can therefore at worst be 0, and therefore this lower bound of RSI is always 0. The upper bound, that is how much maximum can RSI move to, again it is just 100 because it is 100 minus a number, and only if this number is 0 can RSI be equal to 100. And how can this number be 0? This number can be 0 if RS becomes a hugely positive number. Then this denominator becomes so large that 100 divided by a very large denominator becomes almost close to 0. Therefore RSI can at best become very close to 100. It can't become 100, very close to, in mathematical term, which means it can be 99.99999, but it will never touch 100 exactly. So this is how the formula was constructed to ensure that RSI moves between a lower bound of 0 and an upper bound of 100. That's the way, that's only because the formula has made it so. The other thing that are implications of this RSI is becomes more clear when you ask these questions to yourself. So you know the formula now. So when does RSI become 50, for example? And the answer is that it can become 50 only if 100 minus this number is, so this number has to become 50, then 100 minus 50 is equal to 50, right? So this number has to become 50, and this number will become 50 only if 100 divided by this number RS has to be 1, which means this 1 plus RS will be 2, 100 divided by 2 will be 50. So RSI will be 50 only when RS is equal to 1. This is what is the implication. So RSI of 50 implies that RS is equal to 1. And if what is RS? RS is number average gains of up days divided by average gains of down days for the last 14 days, right? So it means that the numerator average gains of up days is equal to the denominator, which is average losses in down days. Only then RS can be equal to 1, which means in that period of 14 days, the average gains made by the bulls is also the average gains made by the bears. In the loss making days, the bears make gains. So therefore if RS equal to means equal to 1, just means that both the bulls and bears have made the same amount of money in the last 14 days. There is no winner or loser between the bulls and bears. So RSI equal to 50, which means RS is equal to 1, implies a equal strength between bulls and bears. The market is, the stock or the Nifty or the market is equally poised when this RSI equal to 50 comes. If RSI is 50, means that there is no gains to either the bulls or there is no gains to the bears also. It is at this moment in time equal. There is no one above the other. Nobody is having a ascendancy over the other. So now let us examine what happens when RSI becomes 60. How does RSI become 60? RSI can become 60 only if this number becomes 40. This number has to become 40, then RSI becomes 60, which means that this number has to become 40 only. It can happen if RS is equal to 1.5, because 100 divided by 1 plus 1.5, which is 2.5, will make this number 40, and therefore RSI will become 60. And therefore it means that in that last 14 days, in those previous 14 days, the gains made by the average gains is 1.5 times the average losses, which means that bulls have an ascendancy. If RSI is equal to 60 or RS is equal to 1.5, bulls have an ascendancy. This is what is the implication of RSI touching 60. And then how does RSI become 70? RSI becomes 70 only if RS is 2.33. You can calculate that. It is 2.33. Then if RS is 2.33, it means the gains made by the bulls in the last 14 days is 2.33 times the gains made by the bears in the last 14 days. So the bulls clearly had an ascendancy in the last 14 days. So RSI greater than 70, according to RSI equal to 70 implies great strength in the market, great control of the bulls over the bears in the market. So similarly, check it out. RSI becomes 80 when RS is 4, RSI becomes 90 when RS is 9. This is very important to realize. The way the formula has been constructed is that for every 10-point gain in RSI, the strength of the bulls has to become more and more. So for a 10-point move from 50 to 60 required only a 1.5. The RS had to only go up to 1.5. From 60 to 70, it had to go up from 1.5 to 2.33. From 70 to 80, 2.33 had to become 4, which means that bulls gained at least 4 times what the bears gained in that last 14 days. And that is a very tough thing. It is not that easy for a market to show that kind of strength, which means RSI touching 80 is a very rare event. Similarly, RSI touching 90 requires bulls to have made 9 times what the bears made, and that is almost a rarity, very extremely rare event, and therefore RSI touching 90 is almost impossible, you can say. And so it just goes to show how much more difficult it becomes for the RSI to go up by 10 points as for the RSI to go up 10 points, it gets more and more difficult as we go higher. And this is the implication of the formula, the way the RSI formula has been created. And this is, once we understand that, we know higher the RSI, greater the strength of the bulls. Lower the RSI, the lesser the strength of the bulls. And once RSI falls below 50, it means that bears are in control. And as it goes towards 0, it means bears are more and more in control. So this is what the implication of the formula of RSI is. For the sake of completion, I have just shown you here how can RSI come down below 50 to 40, 30, 20 and 10 provided RS keeps falling, which means the gains made by the bulls in the last 14 days, the average gains in the last 14 days is much lower than the average gains made by the bears in the last 14 days. And then only RS can be these numbers. And this means that for a RSI to keep dropping, the bulls have to keep making lesser and lesser money in the last 14 days, and that is the implication. So a fall below 50 implies bears have ascendancy. A fall below 40 implies bears have greater ascendancy. As it falls below 30, even more ascendancy of the bears over the bulls. So this is what is implied by these numbers of RSI. So by showing you this, what I have shown is that RSI number gives you this information that how much control do the bulls have over the bears or the bears have over the bulls. This is what is the implication that we get by drawing an RSI or putting an RSI in our charts. So having looked at what is an RSI and how it works, we can now get to see a bit of things as to how RSI can be used. So this is I have just drawn a schematic diagram, a small diagram of a share. This is a share coming down, and you can even visually see that the momentum of the fall is getting reduced. The falls have started getting reduced, but it is still falling nevertheless. But RSI clearly shows you a higher top, higher bottom kind of formation here. It is still a lower top, lower bottom formation here, and RSI has already moved into a higher top, higher bottom formation. And this is what RSI does. RSI gives you an early warning that there is a possibility that the downside momentum is reducing, and this is called positive divergence. Positive divergence happens when RSI starts going up, the share price keeps falling, but RSI already starts going up. That's positive divergence. Now, the reverse is now clearly negative divergence. Here the share price is continuing to go up, as you can see, but the RSI is not going up. It is actually making a lower top, lower bottom. This is called negative divergence, and this is also an implication that the upward momentum, the implication is that the upward momentum has reduced and that we could actually see a break in the momentum, or there could be a small correction or a bigger fall depending on where this negative divergence has come in the chart. But at least it just does imply that the momentum has dropped and there is a possibility of a fall in the price. So this is something very different and not talked about too often. This is called hidden positive divergence, and this happens when, if you see the RS, the share is actually making a higher top, higher bottom here. It has made it down, so there is no change in the Dow theory. So there is no lower. This bottom has not been broken. It is still in a higher top, higher bottom mode, but the RSI has already broken the bottom here. So the RSI is actually broken below this low that it made, but the share has not yet done that. And once the share price starts going up, typically you find that the share actually makes a new high from here. And this kind of situation where the RSI has made a new low, but the price has not made a new low, it is still in a Dow theory buy kind of mode, is when there is a hidden positive divergence in RSI. So this is the reverse of that pattern. It is the RSI negative divergence, which is when the RSI has made a higher top as far as Dow theory is concerned, but the share price has not done a higher top. It is still making a lower top, lower bottom. And if this formation you see, then this is called a negative hidden negative divergence, and this is actually bearish. This is actually a bearish sign, and you expect the share to come down from here and retest this bottom or go lower. I'll try and give some live examples of the four things that I talked about: positive divergence, the negative divergence, the hidden positive divergence, and the hidden negative divergence, using some charts of recent times. So this is Bajaj Finance, and if you see in this entire Feb and March fall, Bajaj Finance, after making this one big fall, kept making newer lows. And but these new lows have been in the Bajaj Finance has been making newer lows, but here RSI clearly doesn't make a new low. Once this first low is formed, it keeps going up, and this is a very clear positive divergence that has happened. Now, positive divergence doesn't mean that we immediately go out and buy the stock just because you see the first signs of a positive divergence. At least as far as I am concerned, I expect that a positive divergence is just a sign that things are beginning to, the downward momentum is beginning to weaken, but it is not a sign that as a trader I can go and buy. And therefore, what we can do is we have to at least wait for a new top to be made, or this lower top, lower bottom formation to get stopped, or for the share to actually show that the lower top, lower bottom formation is being halted. And this happens in this stock, for example, only when Bajaj Finance goes up above this level. This was one, so this made one bottom here, went up, made another bottom here, went up, made another bottom here, lower top again, and made another bottom here. So the lower top, lower bottom formation is broken only when this top is removed. And so when this top is taken out by Bajaj Finance, we know that there was a positive divergence. This lower top, lower bottom formation is over, and Bajaj Finance has actually gone above this top. That means that there is now a potential of a Dow theory buy also coming into Bajaj Finance. So for me, that's the first time, or the first sign, that positive divergence is beginning to work out. So that's when I would probably go and look at buying this stock. So here is a case of a negative divergence. This is Balkrishna Industries, and this is a recent chart. So this is actually as of yesterday, this is the price. So what you see is that the share price has continued to go up. This is how it has gone up here again. So it has made a higher top, higher bottom formation. This is a higher top, higher bottom, higher top, and so on. But the RSI has been making a negative divergence here because it has formed a lower top. RSI has formed a lower top here and has continued to do so, but you will not see that because my picture comes there. But what is also very important is that Balkrishna Industries has actually broken below this low, and has, in this period of time, it has broken below this low. So it is not only a negative divergence, but Balkrishna Industries has also given a Dow theory sell, which actually makes Balkrishna Industries kind of confirm its negative divergence. So the negative divergence has been there, and now it has got confirmed by first time breaking below a previous bottom. So it has broken below the previous low, previous bottom, and that has been negative divergence. So one should be wary of being long in Balkrishna Industries. So I wanted to give you an example of a hidden positive divergence which I talked about, and I said hidden positive divergence is where the share doesn't make a lower bottom but the RSI makes a lower bottom. So it is, if you see here, the share price Bajaj Finance goes here and comes down. This is the first bottom, makes a new top, makes another bottom here, and then goes up, makes a new top, makes another bottom here which is higher than this level, and then keeps going up. And but in RSI there is a break of the bottom, so the RSI is actually breaking below the bottom that it made here, but Bajaj Finance didn't break that here. So this is the time when there is a swing buy possible in Bajaj Finance. So the positive divergence and the negative divergence which I talked about in the last couple of slides actually give you a reversal trade. So it reverses the trend of the stock if you see a positive or negative divergence. But in a hidden positive divergence, what you are looking for is a swing trade. That is, you have waited for the stock to come down. It has not broken below this low, and here RSI has broken below the low. So this is a hidden positive divergence, and then you wait for just the stock price to give you a uptick, a up close, and then that is when you get a good buy trigger, because this is when you can buy with this low as the stop loss, and you can expect to make at least a 2:1 or a 3:1 kind of return when you do this kind of trade. So this is what we look for. This is called a swing trade. This is a short-term swing low that has been made, and then it goes up, and that's when you can buy Bajaj Finance with this as the stop loss. So this is the way to trade a hidden positive divergence. When you get, and when you see a hidden positive divergence, this is what you can do. So I'm using the same Bajaj Finance chart to show how a hidden negative divergence was also there in the same chart. This happened during this fall of February, March. If you see, this made one low and then went up and made a fresh low, and then again went up and made a fresh low. But here Bajaj Finance is actually, when it went up here, Bajaj Finance didn't go above this previous peak. Here again, when it came down and went up, it didn't go above this, but here the RSI is continuously going above the previous top. So this is a positive divergence in the RSI, yes, but it is not going above this previous tops here in the share. And this is very important, that you could keep seeing positive divergence, but there could be a hidden negative divergence in RSI, because the RSI is making a new top, but the price is not making a new top, and it is coming down. So if there's a swing trade down that comes here, if you saw Bajaj Finance go here and then come down, then you can take a trade here with a stop here, or maybe here. Ideally you could take a stop here, because it is this stop would be too far off, and then you can take a trade and expect to see a new low, which it did. And then when it goes up here and then again falls down, that is again a chance to take a trade with a stop at the high of this candle, or at the high of this candle. So there is continuous series of hidden negative divergences which are happening, along with a positive divergence that was happening in the chart, as I showed you in the first slide itself of Bajaj Finance. So there is a positive divergence happening because the share is making a new low, and there is a higher bottom being formed, higher lows being formed in RSI, but within that there is a hidden negative divergence happening. So positive divergence, yes, but there is no trade until this high is taken out. Only then there is a trade, a long trade, that or a positive trade that can be taken in Bajaj Finance. Till that time there was always a negative divergence, hidden negative divergence that was happening in Bajaj Finance, and so there were several sell trades that could have been taken on a swing trade basis here. And this entire thing becomes changed, and the Bajaj Finance trend turns into positive only when this high is taken out, and that's a good time to buy, because there was this huge positive divergence in RSI at that point in time. So this is how you can put it all together. You can see that Bajaj Finance has been making a positive divergence, but you can't take a buy trade in Bajaj Finance until the previous stop is taken out. Until then, maybe you could even keep taking swing trades because of the hidden negative divergence that was coming in Bajaj Finance. So after talking about all the positive divergence, hidden positive divergence, negative divergence, and hidden negative divergence, this is something that you might have to re-see and read about and hear about it a bit more to get it all together. There is a very simple trading system that I wanted to talk about. This is a system that can be used to trade any stock, but ideally an index or like Nifty or a commodity like silver, gold, or copper or crude. If you can trade those commodities, it is a perfect way to trade it. And I wanted to explain the system to you using RSI because it's a RSI based system. I had to compress the chart just to give you an idea of how it has worked in the past. So you might not be able to see things very clearly, but I will try and do that. So there is RSI, you draw the RSI 55 and 45 line. So RSI 55 and RSI 45 lines can be drawn on any chart. So the rule is very simple. If the stock closes above, or the RSI stock closes above the RSI 55, that is when the stock closes in such a way that RSI crosses 55, then you buy the share when the high of that day is crossed. So let me repeat that. If RSI crosses 55 on a closing basis on any day, then you buy the stock the next day if the high is crossed. If the high of that day is crossed, then you buy the stock, and then you hold on until the RSI falls below 45. That is, RSI has to close below 45 and the low of the day has to be broken. Then you not only cut the long position, but you also go short. So this is a long or short kind of system. It's always in the market kind of system. So you're long Nifty or you're short Nifty. So you have to be, you will be either one lot long or one lot short on Nifty. Again, let me repeat, if RSI crosses 55, then buy the index or buy the stock, whichever you're trading, if the high of that day is crossed. Similarly, if RSI falls below 45, then sell the index or sell the stock if the low of that day is broken. So this is the simple system. There's not too much ambiguity or it is impossible to say that I don't get this or I don't understand this system. This is as simple as it gets. If you trade this system across a long period of time, I'm not saying every trade will be positive, but if you do this on a regular basis, take every trade that comes and continue to do this for a long period of time, I'm sure that you will end up making a decent return on your exposure that you take on Nifty, provided of course you manage your stop losses and manage your system in such a way and have so much capital in your business that you are not taking undue risk. So I wanted to put it all together, this whatever I've talked about. So I'll again, so that you have a clearer picture about things. This is Nifty chart. This is the day when Nirmala Sitharaman, sorry, came and said that the corporate rate tax is going to be cut. The market celebrated that, and so it made a move up. And this is where I'm talking about. This is on that day RSI crossed above 55. You can see this here. RSI crossed about 55, and that is when one would have gone long. And similarly, then if you see, the other thing that I wanted to talk about is that you continue to be long all through this fall because RSI doesn't break below the lower dotted line, which is 45. So you're long here and you continue to remain long, and you do nothing, right? You're simply long all the time, all the way until here also it has not fallen below the 45 line. It continues to be up, and it is the first time only here that the fall below RSI 45 has happened, and that's when you would have taken a short trade and not gone long and managed to ride the entire fall during the fall in this February March period of 2020. So that is the first thing. The RSI, when it was above 55, you bought, you shorted it when it fell below 45, and this is how much you would have made on the upside, and you would have gained a lot of decent amount of money on the downside too in this particular system. That is one thing. Secondly, you see that as the market continues to go up, you can start seeing a negative divergence beginning to form on the Nifty. The negative divergence begins to form on the Nifty, but even though the negative divergence is forming, there is no Dow theory sell that is happening in Nifty, because this is a hidden positive divergence. The RSI is broken below the low, but Nifty has not broken the low. That this low is higher than this low. So we are seeing actually a hidden positive divergence. There's a hidden positive buy trade that can happen here on a swing basis. When it closed positive, you bought and then waited for the stop loss here to happen, which didn't happen. It goes up, makes a new high, comes down. RSI again makes a new low here. Here RSI has made a new low compared to this, and yet the share price, that is Nifty price, is not lower. This is again another hidden positive divergence, which again comes to is again fructified. But you can see there is a long negative divergence that has formed now here. Though the swing lows have not been broken, so we are not short, but at the same time we are very worried that the market is beginning to show signs of weakness, and this is when the first time it breaks the swing low here, and that is when the negative divergence is confirmed, that now the negative divergence has indeed come true, and we are probably now seeing a big fall in Nifty. This big fall in Nifty, why we are saying, is first of all this low was broken, and at this time RSI also closed below 45 here. So if RSI has closed below 45, I already have my trading system which says that this is a time to sell. On top of it, this low is broken here, this low is broken on this candle here. All of that put together gives you a feeling that, so this is how it is putting together. Means you can see that you are trading first the system, and this system by itself can be traded, the RSI 55-45 system, but then you are seeing, if you are a discretionary trader, you are beginning to see negative divergences, but hidden positive divergence here. So you are taking the swing trades that come on the hidden positive basis, but you are also getting wary of the negative divergence that is there. Here the RSI is making a new low, the index is making a new high every time, but you are getting wary, and this is the first time when you are willing to sell. If you are just using negative divergence as a reason to sell, this is the place where you would sell it. And then from there on, even the RSI 55 system has not given a buy, because here it didn't cross, it closed above 55 but it didn't cross the high, and so it has gone down after that and made a decent amount of money on the RSI 55 basis also. So post the March 24th low in Nifty, what you see is that it crossed above 55 here. RSI has crossed above 55 here and made a new high, so you would be long. Here it didn't break below 45, it closed below 45, but that low was not broken. And from this point on, we have been long in Nifty all through. If you just use that system of RSI 55-45, right, you would have been long all through. On top of it, what are the other things that we have talked about that you can see here? You can see that there is a hidden positive divergence here. This was the low made here, RSI is here, and this is the low Nifty has made clearly above this low, and RSI has already made a new low, and therefore this is a hidden positive divergence which you could have bought for as a swing trade, and with a risk reward ratio of 2:1, and still made money here. And now I think nothing has changed. There is a slight negative divergence probably in Nifty, but it has not broken below this low. So this low is around 11,111 I think. And so if until 11,111 breaks, the Dow theory sell doesn't happen, so the negative divergence doesn't really get fructified until this happens. Till then there is only a situation that of course Nifty is falling. RSI has not yet broken below 45, but it could if market goes, if Nifty falls for the next couple of days. And if that happens, then that could be the first sign that this entire rally in Nifty is probably getting over, or at least we are entering a phase of correction in Nifty. So what have I tried to do by talking about RSI? Of course, I have explained the formula, I have explained how RSI moves between 0 and 100, and I have also explained to you how how much more effort RSI requires to go from 50 to 60, then 60 to 70 takes more effort, and 70 to 80 takes even more effort than moving from 50 to 60 and 60 to 70, and similarly the other way around. So it is not very easy to RSI to reach 80 or 90 levels. Similarly, it is not very easy for RSI to reach 20 or 10 levels. That is very exceptional kind of situations that it happens. Typically it remains between 30 and 70, or remains between let's say 75 and 25. That's the typical kind of range that you can see in RSI. That's the first thing. It is also a very versatile indicator because it allows you to take two or three different types of trades. One is in the positive and negative divergence that it highlights. It warns you that the momentum of the market is reducing, and then when the Dow theory sell comes in, a confirmation of the fall sets in, you can actually use it to actually make a reversal trade. So a positive divergence or a negative divergence is best used to make a reversal trade. A hidden positive divergence or a hidden negative divergence can be used to make a swing trade. From the same from the same indicator, which is RSI, you can have a reversal trade. You can also have a swing trade, and which is great. I mean, very few indicators can give you this kind of ability. And then of course I have talked about this one system that I've extensively used for myself. Please do try it, back test it, whatever. Try and check it out at least. I believe that it's one of those trading strategies that can actually ensure that you get a regular income on an annual basis, not on a monthly basis, not on a per trade basis. Again, the key thing there is to ensure that you have enough capital. So when you're taking one lot of Nifty, it costs it's an exposure of around 8 lakhs. Don't do this trade unless you think you have 6 to 7 lakhs of capital to put into this business. Treat it as a business, then only you can do this trade. But there is a trading system out there which you can use. Try and use it if you can, to see whether you can make money. Do the same thing if you want. You like a particular stock, somebody gives you a tip, etc., etc. See whether at least it crossed the RSI 55 before you go ahead and buy. If you liked what you saw and you want to be notified about our new videos, then please show your love by subscribing to our channel. Please don't forget to press the bell icon too. Don't forget to visit www.themoneymojo.com for more on our training programs, podcasts and blogs.